Sanibonani, Igama lami Thando, and today I present to you my top 6 ratings of all the lesbian sex I've had that nobody asked for. I'm gonna take this off just for you because I know some of you are uncomfortable already, and just come to you as my usual self. Is this more comfortable for you? I imagine so. You're welcome. I started having sex as a Christian lesbian. Needless to say, a lot of my sex life has been engulfed with a lot of shame. Most of the shame stems from the idea that when you are born again Christian, you are to abstain from sex until you're married, and also said sex is only to be had with a member of the opposite sex. But there I was, partaking in premarital sex, and over and above that, munching carpets. I say all that to alert you that I haven't been particularly comfortable talking about sex privately, let alone on a public platform like this. So this is a huge deal for me to be sitting here in front of you about to talk about my sex life and what about it I enjoy. And it's all thanks to the International Planned Parenthood Federation Africa region. They reached out to me and said, hey girl, we're running a campaign. We want people to enjoy sex. We want people to talk sexy about sex. We want people to love themselves and we want people to pleasure themselves. And the only way to do this is for us to get talking about it and get comfortable talking about it in a healthy way, in a safe way. And they believed I was just the right person to do that. IPPFAR is committed to gender equality and to ensure that women and girls and young people realize their rights and have control over their own bodies. And they also promote pleasure-based sexual health. So when they reached out to me, I said, girl, you know I'm all about that. Of course I'm going to talk to the trusted viewers about sex. So let's get into it. As a lesbian who tops from the bottom, I reckon we should rate these lesbian sex acts from bottom to top. Okay, we'll start at number 6. At the bottom of the list, we have butt sex. Now, I'll be honest, I've borrowed a pinky or two to a person, and I will continue to borrow any of my digits if my sexual partner so wishes. However, just don't bring that stuff to me, okay? I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. Go on and have fun. And I know people lose their minds about, oh my God, there's like a beautiful, amazing feeling down there, back there. I just don't want to, I'm not interested in finding out just the stretching, the lube that has to come into it. I don't know. I'm just, I'm adventurous in other ways, just not with my behind. I'm so sorry if butt stuff is your jig. It's just not for me, okay? This is not a shame situation. We don't kink shame, although butt stuff is not necessarily a kink, I don't think. But yeah, you enjoy and let me not enjoy. So that's why butt sex belongs at the bottom for me at number 6. Let's move on to number 5. Now, from number 5 upwards, it's not necessarily that I don't enjoy the sex act, because I do. Not enjoyment. It's more so how much I enjoy the one sex act more than the other. That's all. So the number 5 sex act for me is kink sex. To be honest, the stuff I've tried so far is on the vanilla side of the kinks. Breath play, wax play, sensory deprivation, edging, spanking. I don't think that kind of stuff would be considered to be like a kink, but like it falls under the umbrella of kinks. And I enjoy that stuff. Now I'm open to doing more stuff. Flogging comes to mind. But the reason why kink sex is at the bottom of the list is because it's not necessarily like the syllabus, if you catch my drift. It's more the extracurricular activity. So if you were to remove kink from my sex life would still thrive. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'll like occasionally think about how adventurous it was when I was burnt with a soy candle on my inner thigh, and it was beautiful, it was amazing, it was lovely. Oh, all the sensories. But I'm not doing that every day. You feel me? An honorable mention though about kink sex is that it's probably the best sex to have because it requires continuous consent. It requires sobriety and responsibility, and those things should not be negotiable. All sex should be that way if we were to be honest, but folks love their drunk sex, and drunk sex can blur the lines of consent, but y'all just like to do things that are blurry and are unsure, and that might get into trouble. So you might want to just look into that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I digress. That's a topic for another day. I'm just like advocating for kink sex and how it promotes sobriety and engaging in sexual encounters with people in a safe way. But it's still number 5 for me. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 on my list is strapping/toy sex. I remember being strapped before. It was once. And I kind of enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was kind of forgettable. So I'm not sure. So why is it at number 4 then, Thando? Well, it's because strapping someone, for me, is top tier. I'm not a fan of being strapped as much as I am of doing the strapping. I enjoyed strapping someone so much that I discovered that I have penis envy. Please, in the comments, somebody tell me I am not the only one. For those who don't understand what I mean by that, I mean that in some instances in my life, I wish I had a penis. Like in the instance of strapping. I don't think I've thought too much about it. I haven't examined it psychologically, what the implications are. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or is it a thing that just is? I don't know. All I know is that sometimes I'm envious of people who have penises. In certain instances, like the strapping instance. Strapping is an art, and I don't believe I've mastered it yet. And I think that's probably where the intrigue is, because I feel like there's more to be learned, there's more to explore, and therefore it still excites me. It's a balancing act of like how deep can you go without hurting your partner, and like how far back can you pull out without actually pulling the whole thing out and then having to start the whole process of inserting it again. Just that balance, just that game of trying to figure it out, all without being able to actually feel any sensation, because it's an external tool and therefore there's some form of a sensory blind spot to it. So yeah, I don't know, it just intrigues me. It's exciting, and I wanna explore more about it. I think that's why it lends itself at number 4. And then moreover, as the giver of the strapping, if it's sitting quite right, there's also like clit stimulation, which means both people are getting a nice time at the same time, and it's just lit, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And that's the best thing about strapping, by the way. You get an ego boost, like this emotional, psychological dopamine hit from pleasuring your partner, and also in return, you're getting this unmatched clit stimulation. Please, give me the straight to strap someone else. I mean, I enjoy it myself as well to receive it, but like not as much as I do giving it. Next, at number 3, we've got mouth sex. The ultimate orgasm guarantor. Unparalleled, unmatched, and you can fight me on that. You know, cunnilingus, there's just something about facial lips meeting with the nether region lips that is just divine. It's the texture, the pressure, the temperature, and a certain kind of expertise that just... It's my number 3, man. Not much else to say. It's straightforward. Just what that mouth do. What that mouth do, man. Next, number 2. Oh, we're gearing to number 1. Okay. Number 2 for me is brain sex. So I believe I've had a variation of what I call brain sex in my lifetime, but one experience comes to mind. Basically what this experience was months upon months of flirting and like gaslighting myself into believing that I wasn't sexually attracted to this woman that I now admittedly had a mammoth of a crush on. The kind of mental gymnastics that I did to try and convince myself that this woman didn't affect me in the way that she did was ridiculous, man, considering I used to be obsessed with the way that she laughed. Like I'd hear her laugh and be like, do that again, from afar. I would practically visualize words falling off of her mouth when she would speak to me. All of that just to turn around and try to convince myself that she ain't all that. It's whatever. I also restricted physical contact with her. I purposefully did not touch her. I insisted on a lot of physical distance, and I did that for months. And so when we found ourselves sharing a bed together, unintentionally, with no intentions of doing anything at all, I proceeded to blow a mammoth of a load on myself without even taking our clothes off or touching. needless to say, that was probably in the top 3, if not 2, of the best orgasms I've ever had in my life. Like I said, it was basically months and months of edging, and that's just not sustainable. Who has the time for that? If I could learn how to do that more consistently, continuously, frequently, I would, but I'm not that into sex, so I'll let it slide. I'm okay not knowing how to do that again. And now moving on to number 1. The lesbian primary sex act for me is finger sex. There isn't much to it. It's straightforward. No frills, but orgasms 100% guaranteed. The hands go everywhere. They are touching everything, hitting all the spots. Wrist action, come hither action, circle action, DJing action, triple finger action. There are variations from Cape to Cairo, please. Finger sex will never not be enough for me. I could have finger sex all my life and no other option, and I'll be satisfied. I enjoy giving it equally as receiving it. It could be clitoral stimulation or penetration or both. I don't have to convince you about it. You get it. It's a staple diet. It is the reason lesbians will start having sex at 8 p.m. and roll over and at 6 a.m. And that's exactly why it's my number 1. That's it for this video. In the comment section, please let me know what your ratings are, and also let me know which sex acts I didn't include, because that's not for me, right? Like the scissoring, acrobatic stuff, that's for people who are under the age of 33, in my opinion. Or people who are acrobatic and like flexible and fit like that. Not for me, but I get it. I get people who enjoy that kind of stuff. So you let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you to the International Planned Parenthood Federation Africa region. It's such a mouthful, or just IPPFAR, that's better, for sponsoring this video. I hope we continue to have these sex chats much more in depth, in a much more conversational way. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video.